Live from the campus of Southern University, it's the Bottom Line TV show, bringing real truth to today's problems. And now, your host for the Bottom Line TV show, Mr. Bruce Walker.
Welcome to the Bottom Line, and I'm your host, Bruce Walker, first giving my obedience to Christ, who's truly the head of all of our lives. This week we're talking about another one of the traps of the gap, real estate. Join us. Welcome, Ms. Denise.
Thank you.
And here again, I can't thank you enough for taking your time out and come and join us here at the Bottom Line and being willing to share your expertise, because here again, this topic here, real estate and being a real estate owner, for me is another one of those things that falls in the trap of the gap. And, you know, I like to explain it is the trap of the gap is there's a gap between the haves and the have-nots. And in that gap, there's a whole lot of traps. And to make sure the have-nots never get what the haves have, they lay a lot of traps. So one of those traps is the inability for a lot of people to own land in real estate. Another one I found is your credit score. So there's different things in that gap that keeps us from reaching the next level. And today we're going to talk about real estate. And Ms. Denise, like I said, I can't thank you enough, because, you know, it's one thing to go out there and buy a house.
Right.
It's something totally different when you own the company that help other people's dreams come through. So hats off to you, Ms. Denise, and
Thank
that's
you.
enough about me blowing your horn. But I would like you to tell our audience a little about Ms. Denise and what makes her so passionate about this real estate.
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm. My parents had 7 kids, so
Amen.
I've always been where we've owned property. And it is my passion to help others achieve the same thing, to
Amen.
purchase their first home, to stay in their home. So I try to teach them, you know, to learn about the financing. Make certain that your credit is good.
Amen.
And I teach a lot of first-time home buyer seminars, so they'll know not to fall into certain traps.
Amen.
Not to get too eager to get into a house before you get your financing in order. For instance, don't do a lease purchase. That's something that I don't like doing or recommend to anyone. For instance, if a seller says, okay, we'll lease purchase it to you, but you got to give me $20,000. Now you don't have any ownership in this home. Who's to say that the owner is actually paying the mortgage? And I've seen where the sheriff's office comes and knocks on your door and say, hey, this house is being foreclosed on. But you've given this seller all the money that you have to lease something that they are about to lose.
Good grief.
So, you know, instead of doing that, have a plan. Even if that plan is 6 months, a year, what is it going to take for you to get your credit in order so you can purchase a home?
Amen, amen, amen. Now, Ms. Denise, I know you have a lovely husband. I know you have some kids.
I do.
I know you grew up in a small town, but you ain't tell me exactly where at. We want to know all your business, because this stuff you teaching us, we want to be able to hold you accountable. So we going to come looking for you, Ms. Denise. So tell us a little bit more about your wonderful family and stuff like that.
Sure. I grew up in a small town of Mount Hermon, Louisiana.
Amen.
And if I'm not mistaken, it still has the one caution light, and it has kindergarten through 12th grade at the same school.
Good.
So-
Now just tell me, what's the big town by that little town?
The closest big town, should I say town, is Franklinton. That's still small, so we may say Bogalusa.
Bogalusa.
Some people may know of Bogalusa in Washington Parish.
All right, then that's all right. They got some special things come from the deep parishes of Louisiana, and you're a fine example.
Thank
Because
you.
like I say, I think it's phenomenal that you've been able to come all the way from that portion of Louisiana to come to what we now know as the capital of Louisiana
Right.
and to accomplish the things that you've accomplished. You know, hats off to you, Ms.
Thank
Denise.
you.
So I know you have a couple of kids, a nice husband.
I do. My husband, Naaman Harris. I have a son, Ryan Connor. He's 26 years old. I have a 22-year-old, Leah Connor. She'll be graduating from Southern University School of Nursing December.
Amen.
And I have a 9-year-old, Cassidy Harris.
All right, Ms. Denise. That's what I'm talking about.
But the exciting thing is, in our conversation earlier, my son purchased his first home at the age of 22.
Amen. And you know, Ms. Denise, that speaks to parenting right there, because anytime a child could purchase their own home at 22 and really don't come from the traditional silver spoon background, somebody is doing some pretty good parenting and some pretty good education in there. And here again, that's why we got you here today on The Bottom Line, Ms. Denise, because we want to know how and what we need to do to help our kids acquire their first starter home at 22, which seems about appropriate,
right?
But we're not getting that goal accomplished. We got to take a small break here, Ms. Denise, but hopefully you're going to stay with me for a whole hour, because there's no way we could do this no justice in 30 minutes.
Right.
Don't y'all go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Let First Choice entertain you. Get a 42-inch flat screen HD TV, audio bar, and Blu-ray player with Wi-Fi for just $19.99 a week. Plus, get a $6 Redbox gift card as long as you rent. Come to any First Choice location for details or go to firstchoicerto.com.
First Financial of Baton Rouge, an accounting firm approved to prepare, audit, and submit financial information for claims due to the BP Deepwater Horizon spill. If your business is located in Louisiana or Mississippi and you had lower revenues in 2010 than any of the previous 3 years, you're eligible to file. First Financial of Baton Rouge has filed over $80 million in claims. Look, there's no risk. Call today. 663-2382. See the entire Tag Heuer collection today at Elgin's Fine Jewelry.
Welcome back to The Bottom Line. And if y'all are just joining us today, it's such a pleasure to be sitting here with a phenomenon, really, because she come from a little small town to the big city, and now she's helping all of our dream come through when she has that opportunity, which is home ownership purchasing. And, you know, it's a couple of things about that for me. One, Ms. Denise, I understand the fact that God ain't making no more land.
No.
So if you don't get some before all of this is bought up, you probably won't have none, right?
That's true.
The other thing I do understand, and this is on a little more serious note, is that there was a time that minorities was not encouraged to own land and kind of kept from owning land. And a true story, I was out playing golf with some older gentlemen one day, and they told me the Cadillac story. And the Cadillac story is, back in the days, the biggest thing a minority could own was a Cadillac, because he was discouraged from owning land.
Okay.
Now, you know, I think that's a travesty, and I had to wonder if there was any truth to it, but then you have to believe there is some truth if they do have some laws against fair housing practice and such and such. So, you know, we've come a long way, Ms. Denise, in the importance of real estate and acquiring real estate, but most of us still don't have the knowledge necessary to make that big step. And, you know, that's why we brought you here, because like I said in the last segment, it's phenomenal that you're responsible for a 22-year-old man who purchased his own house at the age of 22.
Right.
That's phenomenal, but I know that came with some good teaching and some good parenting. So if you would, talk to us a little bit about what does it take to position yourself these days to be a homeowner?
Well, the first thing is make certain that you establish credit.
Amen.
I've seen that before where you didn't get a credit card, you didn't finance a car, so you have to establish credit. But when you establish credit, you have to maintain good credit,
Amen.
paying things on time. And those were some of the things that I taught my son when he was, saving his money to purchase his home.
Amen.
We did allow him to stay with us, and he didn't have to contribute to the household, but he did save his money for his down payment of his first home.
Now, see, Ms. Denise, I think that's phenomenal simply because, and I didn't know this when I was a lot younger, but I see a lot of young middle-aged teenagers and young adults hurrying up to move from out of their parents' house just to become a renter. What you think about that, Ms. Denise?
I feel it's good to plan to leave your parents' home, but you also have to have that plan to own your home.
Amen.
I don't believe that you should hurry up to do anything.
Amen.
When you make quick decisions, sometimes it's the wrong one.
Amen. Amen.
And sometimes it's okay for our children to stay with us a little longer just to make certain that they get on their feet. I have a 22-year-old that I mentioned to you that's in nursing school at Southern University. She'll be graduating in December.
Amen.
I thank God that she didn't have to work while she was in school so she can get that education, that she doesn't have the student loans to facing her right now, but it's just helping our children prepare themselves. So later down the line, when I'm experiencing or enjoying the empty nest, I don't want them to come back.
Amen. Amen. And the only way they don't come back is they have a house for themselves.
Right. They
Ms.
have to be
Denise?
prepared, and we
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
help them prepare to keep their home and the things that they need to do to maintain that home.
Amen. And here again, I think renting, we all probably have to rent at some point in some time, but I think renting has played out because the way grown adults are moving back in with parents, in the way young adults can't afford to move out from parents, renting is really not as popular as it used to be. And for me, I understand why, because there's no benefit in renting.
It does benefit someone, the person that owns the property.
Well, hold on.
But not for us.
Yeah, that don't benefit me, Ms.
Right.
Denise.
So how can you do that? How can you own a piece of property that maybe you're an investor,
Amen.
that you can, get an income from when you retire?
That's what we want to learn, but I guess even before we get to that investment property state, we got to figure out how to get to the initial personal property state. And I think a lot of that has done with the miseducation of ourselves. And I think the big miseducation is that we don't qualify or we can't afford to be homeowners. We are merely fixed to be renters of real estate. And, maybe that was true 20, 30 years ago, but it's enough people making enough money now that we should have a whole lot more homes being owned in our family than we have renters.
Well, not only that, when you look at it, what you're paying in rent, you can probably get a much nicer home and pay less than what you're paying in rent, and it's something that you actually own. Because a decent area and you're paying rent, you can have a very nice home for probably a few $100s less than your rent. We see it every day.
Every day.
Every day.
You see it every day in your business
Every
where
day.
you are getting somebody approved for a loan and their house note will be actually cheaper than the
their
apartment
rent.
they was living out
That's
of.
right. Correct.
That's funny, but it's sad too, Miss Denise, because we must be terribly misinformed in order for us to constantly be making this same mistake of renting other people's property when we should be trying to position ourselves to own our own piece of real estate.
That's correct.
Nah, Ms. Denise, we're going to have to take another little break here, but I'm glad I got you here for an hour because
I'm
we
here.
could talk about this for forever, really, because I believe that's how far we're behind in owning real estate. So we're going to take a little break here. Don't y'all move. We'll be right back.
If you only download one app, that app should be Four Woes. And now, the last Sunday of each month, someone's going to win a Four Woes app gift bag. Just click on the menu tab at the bottom and like our Facebook page. It's that easy. Then write a quick post so we know who you are. Just simply state, I should get the gift bag because it's that simple. Remember, the last Sunday of each month, we'll pick a winner.
For 20 years, First Choice has made your life better with our great selection of brand name furniture, electronics, and appliances at flexible payment plans to meet any budget. And at First Choice, there are no credit checks and no one's refused. Come into any First Choice location or shop online at firstchoicerto.com.
Hello, I'm Reverend A.J. Johnson with Baton Rouge AIDS Society. For the past 2 years, Baton Rouge has been number 1 in the country with the highest rate of AIDS cases. And 2 years before that, we were number 2 in the country. My thing is, let's be part of the solution and not the problem. Get tested, get your results, and get on with your life. If you think you don't have time to get tested, call 923-AIDS at Baton Rouge AIDS Society and become part of our Anytime Testing Program. We test 24/7, 365. No needles, no blood, and get your results in 20 minutes. Get tested and know your results.
See the entire Tag Heuer collection today at Elgin's Fine Jewelry.
Welcome back to the Bottom Line. And if y'all just joining us today, we're here with Ms. Denise Harris of RE/MAX Preferred Choice. And here again, I can't thank you enough for coming out because you're another lady that sat on our couch and took us all to school. And we appreciate it because, like I said, this thing about home ownership and real estate ownership is something that we know very little about. And it's obvious you've done some phenomenal things in this industry and with your loved ones.
Right.
Now, in last segment, we was talking about the fallacy of renting. And for me, I'm going to speak to the youngsters out there, Ms.
Okay.
Denise. I like them to understand how important it is for them to humble themselves long enough to live at home with their parents till they save up about $12,000.
Right.
And if you could do that, you could come see Ms. Denise and she could teach you how to own your first home at 22, 23 years old. So these are the things that we want to encourage our youngsters to do. And that's about humility, Ms. Denise,
Right.
because I understand. I remember when I made 18, I was like, I gotta go. Lady, I can't take you no more. I gotta get out your house. That was such a foolish mistake of
Right.
mine. If I knew half of the stuff back then that I knew now, I wouldn't have been 40-something trying to buy me a house.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So the things you don't know will hurt you. Now, Ms. Denise, I understand that you've done some things remarkably with your son and
Right.
the young man who's engaged to your daughter.
Right.
And I think it's phenomenal because I don't know too many 22-year-old men who purchase their own homes. So, Ms. Denise, if you would take a minute and speak to the parents on what does it take to help prepare a child and even tolerate them while they living in your house that extra time while they saving their money.
Right. Actually, both of these young men, my son and also my daughter's fiance, they moved from their parents' homes directly into their homes. So,
Amen.
in preparing them, it's like you and I talked before, it's getting that credit in line,
Amen.
having a savings, teaching them what do you need to do to establish good credit.
Amen.
And when you have good credit, you can purchase the homes that you want. There's just so many things that, we can teach our children. And, 10 years from now, if they decide to sell that home, hopefully they've gained some equity that they may gain $20,000, $30,000 when they sell that property.
Yes, indeed. You ain't never got nothing back when you moved out of the apartment,
Right.
Ms. Denise, huh?
Right.
They don't even want to give you a deposit back when you move out the apartment.
Right, in most cases.
That's ridiculous. Ms. Denise, I think that right there is phenomenal. And I believe there's a lot of young men out there that's trying to posture and prepare themselves to become very young homeowners. And I think you've definitely helped pave the way on explaining to us how to get that done. Now, I ain't letting you go. You got to sit here because I think this is just such a phenomenal topic that touches everybody because the whole world becomes a better place
Right.
when we all own some of the pie instead of just a certain percentage having all of the pie and everybody else got to purchase little pieces at a time.
Right.
So I think it's a benefit for the whole world. Now, we're going to have to end this show, but before we go, Ms. Denise, I'd like you to look into that camera because here again, I know that there's a lot of parents out there that would like to maybe discuss how they could help their children posture themselves to become very young homeowners. So we like an opportunity to for you to reach out and let them know how to get involved, how to reach you. First of all, tell them about RE/MAX because here again, that RE/MAX preferred choice is, I've been around. I don't see too many black females owning their own
The
RE/MAX.
only one in the state.
You kidding me?
No,
Ms.
I'm not.
So I'm blessed to be sitting here with the only one in the state.
The only one in the state.
That's because God gonna send you who you need when you
Right.
need them, and we need this right now, and that's why God has sent you here to better prepare His people
Right.
and our people to move to the next level. A lot of times we think we get to the next level by just waking up.
Oh, no.
No, you
Takes
got to
hard
put in
work.
some hard work,
Right.
right, Ms. Denise? So look into that camera. Tell them how to get in touch with you at RE/MAX, where your office location at, what your website is. Give them some information on how to reach Ms. Denise because I'm quite sure a lot of them ladies out there want to get their sons out of their house, but they want to get them out the right way, Ms.
Right,
Denise. So
right.
talk to them.
This is how you can reach me. You can reach me at 291-4440, and that's RE/MAX Preferred Choice on South Sherwood Forest Boulevard. Or you can also look me up at preferredpropertiesbr.com.
Amen. Amen. Now, y'all know we're going to be right back here next week again with Ms. Denise, and we're going to continue to talk about this real estate journey
Yes.
that a lot of us are on and a lot of us need to get on. And we also going to talk about some of that HARP and refinancing because even if you have a house and you're in trouble of getting put out, you could help
I
them
can
with
help
that
them.
as well.
You need to give me a call as soon as possible.
All right, then. All right, now, Ms. Denise, I know you have a wonderful open house coming up. I know God has blessed you with this brand new RE/MAX, and you're going to do a nice open house. Tell us about it so our lovely audience could come out and support you.
Sure. Our grand opening will be October the 11th from 10 to 2. We'll have our mortgage companies there, title companies, our home inspectors, and of course, my wonderful team of RE/MAX Preferred Choice agents. Our location is at 5515 South Sherwood Forest Boulevard, or you can reach us at 291-4440. Also, look us up online at preferredpropertiesbr.com. But come out and help us celebrate. We're going to do something special for Southern University School of Nursing, their scholarship program. We're going to be giving something back to Southern University. So we want everyone to come out and join us in the excitement.
Amen. You know we love Southern here too, Ms. D, so we going to support you right there.
Thank you.
So we look forward to seeing you out there, and I'll be out there myself,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Denise. We're going to see y'all here back here next week. Thank y'all for joining us, and that's the bottom line.
Video by TMB Productions, shot on the campus of Southern University. Set provided by First Choice Furniture. Contact The Bottom Line at contact@thebottomlinetvshow.com. This has been an AG production. See the entire Tag Heuer collection today at Elgin's Fine Jewelry. If you only download one app, that app should be For Woes. And now, the last Sunday of each month, someone's going to win a For Woes app gift bag. Just click on the menu tab at the bottom and like our Facebook page. It's that easy. Then write a quick post so we know who you are. Just simply state, I should get the gift bag because it's that simple. Remember, the last Sunday of each month, we'll pick a winner.